There you go.
Ladies,
Okay.
what color hat was that? Because you guys know chartreuse and shit that men don't know. What color hat was that?
Burnt orange.
Burnt orange.
Yeah, umber.
Okay, it's close enough to red to call it red.
Oh, you're just trying to gain favor.
It wouldn't work if you were trying to paint a car.
Yeah, he's got
It was like, give me a red. I want my car painted red, and you give him a car with that color. You'd be like, what the fuck is this?
So what you just do?
Horseshoes and hand grenades, ladies. That's some.
What color's my shirt, Harmon?
Well, there are many different shades of orange, Hank. We all know that.
And there's different shades of red.
I know. Hank is trying to play this gotcha game like debate bro tactic, but it won't work here, Hank.
Yeah, Hank.
So you won't answer
Flo
the question?
smarter than that.
You won't answer the question.
He's
That's
dodging you, Hank. He's
Tangerine.
dodging
I
you.
believe that's tangerine is the technical color for that.
That's a
He's
fruit.
he's running from you, Hank. Get him. Don't let him go. Don't let him corner him.
That's a fruit.
Orange is a fruit.
You're
too,
a fruit,
man, so.
Hank.
Orange is the new red, man.
Hey,
You heard
Super
him.
Joe Cool is a self-professed fruit.
My God, you sound like for public safety, dude. It's creeping me the fuck out now.
Yeah, I'm walking in someone's room as Super Joe Cool because I'll forget before the night's over.
Glenn Lawrence, talk to us, buddy.
I'm just listening and just like, okay, what are we talking about?
Hey, how did
there's
Culture
no
Club
order.
go, man?
Be honest
give us
with you,
the cliff
I do
notes.
want to say that I think the way Camel did Joe Cool was pretty dirty back in the 90s.
That was kind of fucked up how Camel did Joe Cool.
What the fuck? You gonna take that, Joe Cool? Get him.
I
That
didn't
reminds
even
me of
get
smoking
there.
a cigarette.
Yeah, I didn't even get it, but
They accused him of abusing children and they banned him from magazines.
What?
They
Get the
absolutely
fuck
did,
out
man.
of here.
They sure did.
Hey,
Money, money, money,
King
money.
Daddy.
Money. You gotta get a Trump sounder for that one, dude. You
Let's-
gotta get a Trump
King
sounder.
I
Daddy?
You
need
never-
every bit of money you can bring me. Pay me. All the money, all the banking, all the jobs, all the material things. I love spending money. And all these people here know that I love spending all that money.
Bye,
Is that a
Christy.
fucking euro?
Right, crispy.
Bye.
Good night, Crispy.
What's up,
Damn,
fatty?
she was off like a prom dress.
Damn.
She didn't seem too happy about it either.
She was
I thought
out
he
like a
was just
belly button.
asking for a name change.
Listen, I'm so glad that all my haters are poor. They don't have any money.
That's kind of a revenge is best
Yeah.
served with your poor bitch. Deal with it.
Yep.
Well,
You can hate me, but you're poor. I like that.
Look, even if I had money, I still wouldn't pay money to kick someone off a fucking panel. That's stupid. It's wasting money.
All right, we got to get it. We got to get it for public
he
safety.
He bought her.
voice
He bought
clip.
her off for the rest of the night with no Harmon. I can't let you up right now.
You can kick
wait
me.
till another
Kick me,
spot
man.
opens up. Fatty just bought himself a spot.
No, I'll hop off, man. You can get him up. Thanks,
All right,
guys. Y'all
Harmon,
have a good evening.
Harmon, come back up. I just kicked
Is it
him
too
out.
late? Let me know when he
he'll
comes
come
back up.
He'll come back. Fatty, I'm
I'll-
holding the door open for you.
Just boot me when he gets back, man. And I'll thanks for letting me have up here, Flo. And I'm really sorry about that asshole with telling you to shut the fuck up, Joe. I don't know what the fuck his problem was. He's an asshole. You just fucking tell him to eat a dick.
I get that 12 times a night.
Tell him to choke on
All
a
right.
dick.
Yeah, tell him to choke on a whole bag.
This is Harmon's back. This is you now.
All right, take care.
Generally
Take care,
specific. Thank you for joining, and I'm going to drop his link right now.
Later,
Yeah,
Jazz.
appreciate
Later,
it. My
brother.
balls are
Hey,
dropping
Fatty's
right
thing-
after that, though.
Daddy's staying in the chat.
Oh, he is.
Take-
I
I
thought
had to
it.
say hello to Hank.
No,
He's
he
not
said,
coming in?
He said stay in the chat. No need to open up a spot. So
All
I'm
right.
confused.
All right.
Well, Fatty,
Hey,
I
Hank.
appreciate the contribution.
Oh,
Hey.
this other guy that looks like he's not you. I didn't know that.
Fatty, I can't believe you
I-
just
I
dropped
found
50
some
bucks
super-
on this dude. You've never even dropped $1 in my chat. You're a dick.
Yeah, hold on. Let me post my cash app in the chat.
Well, first of
Joe,
all,
Joe,
gonna
cool.
hate-
I don't want to hear shit from you until I see a promotion from my channel on your channel.
Actually, it might be a month or so, but you're gonna be in there because I'm putting a video together about the being close to cops, and I'm talking about how I was out on working my way back here and I want to show the video of how close I were to the cops. So you and the other people I saw on that trip will be in the vid, and I got the video that you sent. You'll be in there. It might be a month and a half or something, but you'll be in
I
there.
can't believe you didn't cut the promo while I was at your house, Flow State. Why didn't you do that?
What?
Cut the
Why didn't you
promo.
cut
I'm
the
an
promo?
idiot. That's me, bro. I
You cut the promo
always
while he was at your
forget.
house.
Well, we streamed.
But
While we were out driving around, we did a cop watch or something. Saved a homeless guy who was about to get murdered by the cops. Generally specific, dropping some bombs as well. I appreciate you.
Yes, yes.
There it is.
Hey.
That is the greatest shit ever.
Look, I don't know if
All
that's
right.
really Fatty out there because he's sending mixed signals like a woman.
There seems to be some confusion. I wasn't dropping Crispy, by the way. I was replying to her mean comment she left on Flo's comment section. You can bring her up, bro. Well, at this point, the panel's off. Because 50 euros is approximately $60, right? Maybe even a little more.
No, it's like $55.
65 probably.
55.
I bet
Right.
you
Okay,
it's
so
less than
$60 is what it costs to kick somebody out for the rest of the night. I think that was a kick. Anyways,
kick
I
me.
would have took it as a kick.
Tell me
I mean,
to get out of here, you
it's
scamp.
fucking Team
Get outta here,
Fatty
you
for
scamp.
crying out loud. He's known for paying to get people off panels. He's part of.
How much is 50 euros?
I'm not leaving unless you kick me, you dirty dog. You. What are you doing? Smokes a cigarette like that.
50
Oh,
euros.
no, you know how to kick you.
That's 54
I mean,
bucks.
Fatty, aren't you part of the
Well,
original
you
Get Back gang?
54 bucks and 24 cents.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 50.
so she can come
That's
back
it?
on then whenever.
It, yeah.
And thank you, Angela, for speaking wisdom.
I just saw that.
Hey Hank, I didn't say nothing about your hats. I don't know where you got that one from. Someone you must have been confused.
I
It
confused
was-
you with the other guy that looks exactly the same as you.
He was talking to
Oh,
GS.
okay. There's lots of us. We're all white. We look the same.
Oh, you talking to me?
Anyway,
all
talking
white.
to
you
me.
like my
All
background?
white people look alike to us. Yeah.
Oh,
Talking to
white
me?
people
What, you say all
look
white people look the
alike.
same?
Yeah,
you're
I'm
saying-
just
Hey,
racist today.
You're saying I
Hey,
look
you see my background?
I look like Hanky?
No.
Hey, I can't get mad
Oh,
at him
this
for
guy
saying
right
that
here.
because I
You
feel
look
the
like
same
that
way
guy.
about, this.
Did you bring this up for Hank?
The blacks.
Yes, yes, the blacks. I feel the same way. They all look the same.
You always look the most chill of anybody on panel.
He looks
Yeah,
like
settle down, dude.
a
Settle down.
manager of like a farm baseball team from the Midwest.
Like Moneyball.
I brought you up
he
to somebody
said
the other day. Who was
farm
it? Oh, it was Tomato and Sarah when they started. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, Sarah and Rachel when they started talking about. Rachel brought up favorite serial killer. She started talking about the Manson stuff.
Ooh, talking about Rachel, like I'm kind of, or not Rachel, Sarah. You guys see like her stream tomorrow? The title of it?
No.
She mad about something.
Are you gonna keep the secret,
who?
motherfucker?
Who's Sarah?
Raging
Sarah?
Tomato.
The Raging Tomato. She was up here earlier. You'd like her.
I think it says something like, she's like
I
she's
seen
not
her once
mad,
with
she's
you.
disappointed,
You were on
or
her
something
show.
about like Bass and Andrew Wilson or something like that. Like,
Well, she
Bass
wa-
in there too?
She was disappointed in the fact that she wasn't even on the panel at the time. I guess that. So Andrew Wilson came on to do the interview, right? I feel like I'm gossiping a little bit. So Andrew Wilson came on to
I
do the
missed
interview.
it too. So please gossip and fill
I
me
mean,
in.
if it's the one that I was on, I
Yeah.
was on it. So
Yeah, go ahead, Golan.
I mean,
are you talking about the one that
It's when she walked away and you took over.
Okay, so yeah, no, Andrew did a show with her.
Yeah.
Andrew came on her channel, did a live stream. She was interviewing him. Cool. He ended up leaving. He stayed his time and said, "All right, out of here." Cool. Right. And then, she opened the panel. And now you got to remind you, this is like the day after Andrew and Bass were on my stream, and we had
they went at it,
like
yeah.
the debate, arrangements all set up, right? So after she left, or after he left, she opened the panel, and people came up, and people wanted to talk about like this whole Bass Oracle versus Andrew debate, right?
Hold on, whose channel is this comment on?
Mine.
Okay.
So this the Crucible is sending people over here.
Oh, sweet!
Shout out to the Crucible and all the Crucible people.
Hope I get a chance to talk to Andrew
my
again.
channel afterwards.
And so, here we go. The Crucible raid. It's coming. So Andrew left, and so everybody came up like normally on Sarah's panels. We have panel shows, and Bass came up, and people were really just more questioning him about like the whole debate, like what is he doing, right? And Andrew's using that as an example of like why bigger channels wouldn't, and he wasn't using Sarah's stream as a channel or as an example per se, but like it was like, that was the most recent one on there. It's like, what's the benefit for bigger channels to go on smaller channels?
Well, no, well, she took it personal. He was just asking an abstract question.
She took it real personal, and
it's a great question.
It is a good question. It makes sense, I totally get it.
I'm sorry.
And so I think there was some miscommunication there, but the way that was presented to her on Josie's stream kind of made it seem like Andrew had a gripe or a beef with her, and Andrew came on there later on, or shortly after, and explained it to her, or explained to everybody what he was saying.
What was he saying? What is it? Why? Because I can think of a million reasons why you would do it.
You want to welcome the Crucible people?
Yeah, shout out to all those amazing Crucible fans. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. So much love from you guys. Andrew's always a friend of mine, him and his amazing wife. So shout out to you guys who support them and all of you guys raiding right now.
All right, somebody give him something.
And if you wanted
his mouth now.
If you want to join, well, the panel's full right now, but if Flow State, the channel in the banner right there is where he's restreaming from. You should come over here as well and sub and do all the things. Go ahead.
And so a lot of the people like in the chat were actually upset with Sarah because like she was like, well, I left and Glenn was responsible for the panel because I have admin. And I was like, yeah, I was responsible, like I didn't see what the issue was. So yeah, I think there was a miscommunication there. But
man, you're getting mad love in the chat, Flo.
I know.
I don't think they realize this is your stream right now.
I don't think
you guys, I'm re-streaming from Flow State stream. So shout out to Flow State for hosting the stream.
And shout out to We Are Not Men.
Dude, loves Flow State.
I didn't know why Andrew asked that question. He knows the answer because Jim Bob does it all the time. He goes
MS Kung Po. I am Glenn, the one that says my name, my icon, right there says Glenn Lawrence. That is I. No, but like the Crucible, like they have good people over there, and I love Andrew's debates, like his top. Also, yeah. Now this is me. There we go. Put me front centered.
Flex harder. You need to lose like 5 pounds though, man. You need to work on that.
I do. I'm actually trying to get down to 215. Thank you very much.
You got to fat shame me back though a little bit, otherwise this is going to work out.
No,
it looks good. I just saw him the other day.
You fat shamed yourself as soon as you turn your camera on.
I do. You're right.
Just by turning on your camera, you fat shame yourself.
That's why I have a beard, so I can hide the extra shame.
Hey, that beard's pretty righteous too, by the way.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
It is a good beard.
Hey, I've been working on mine for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah, I'm supposed to change my name, right? Are We Not Men? Like, did you guys change my production name? They changed my channel name. It's supposed to be Production of Men now. Haven't got to that yet.
Should be reproduction, I think, because we need
Grunthead, what makes you think that I would ever kowtow like that? You got to be out of your mind. First of all, and that was on the approach entirely. I I am cool to Easy. He just needs to get better manners.
Well, how about you and Easy?
But like,
Wait,
just the concept of this comment is
Yes, it is outrageous.
You know, I
To be
think-
cooler, motherfuckers. Change
Right.
the way you
A lot of
are,
people,
and
like,
then
play the
you'll get.
telephone game.
Yeah.
This is where people play the telephone game and things get messed up. You know, it's like with this whole thing with Sarah, right? I think if Sarah would have heard it from Andrew when he was explaining it, it would have been different. But like the way that it was presented, it was almost like if Andrew had an offense with her and she like offended him. And so, you know, as soon as you get to that point, like you hear that, like you're automatically defensive if you know you
Glenn, I gotta ask. Glenn has gotta ask.
What's up?
This is a good shot that she would take it personal. Wasn't he shooting at a shot at small channels? Something would have had to get him into to the place where he would say that. What is the benefit of fucking with small channels?
Think, from what I understand, I think overall what it was talking about is like the concept of why bigger channels don't generally support or help smaller channels, right? Because they're like there's no benefit for them. Like the exchange is not the same, right? It's almost kind of like okay, like Eminem giving Machine Gun Kelly a response.
It's like
right?
giving back to the community after you make your way out of it.
Yeah, well, it's like why did Eminem acknowledge Machine Gun Kelly? He didn't have to. He could have just left it alone, and nobody would have thought it. So it's like why
if that's your yes, okay, well
that was what
the
explanation
okay.
was.
Well, that says a lot, right? Because Eminem and so that tells me already their relationship is I don't like that dude, I'm not trying to help him. That speaks a lot. So if a person says why would I go on a small channel and it implies that they obviously would not, it means that it doesn't benefit me. Hold on, it doesn't benefit me in any way. But that's not true.
The verbiage is different.
If you left the question at,
hold
on, this is the part I was trying to get to. If you left the question at why would a small channel go on, a big channel go on a small channel, you'd go on there not to benefit you, it benefit them. That's a great reason.
And that's what Andrew was saying, though,
Exactly.
Joe. Exactly what you just said. But he also said in the event that he does go and benefit that smaller channel, and there is some residual, but the percentage point would be much less obvious necessarily.
Yeah, like
there has
to be a reason. Like there has to be
but when he said when he left, he felt like if that channel is kind of trashing the bigger channel that just kind of did it a service, that's kind of jacked up. But and the other thing that he said was the benefit could be if you go to a small channel, a small creator that's having a really good conversation or has a really good topic and it's a really interesting debate or concept, that would be a good reason for a bigger channel to go.
Yes,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't really being critical. He was asking an open-ended, objective question.
As an open question is great. Yeah.
It's just that unfortunately,
and that's why I said
she got offended. Go ahead.
The way that was presented, it was presented like if she offended him in some regard, and that's where I think it got muddy or confusing when it first got presented to her. Like, oh, like how did I offend Andrew? You know, like
what about Glenn? I noticed in the title I looked at it said Andrew Wilson and Based Oracle. Yeah. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. How does Based come into play with this?
I don't know. Like I don't know I don't know what yet. Like I know that they had a conversation, you know, they have been having conversations or whatever. And I really don't know anything other than I know that she's obviously just from what she posted on like her YouTube that something has obviously something has bothered her.
Well, if it's both of them that bothered her, then it's maybe not the small channel comment. Maybe it's something else.
No, that's where it kind of like it stemmed from. It that's where I thought it from.
No, you're probably right. You probably saw something right.
Probably best not to speculate.
About 2 weeks ago, I was on her. About 2 weeks ago, I was on her channel, and I was complimenting her that she had 1,000 and something being only on for like 3 or 4 months. I said you should be. I said by the time you by the end of the year, you should be at least 3,000. And she really thought, wow, I should be way past that. I said, well, I don't know. I said, it's hard to know.
I hate that.
It takes a minute.
Now, let me speculate. Do you think that, and I'm purely speculating, it could be a tactical misunderstanding?
Yeah, I think it's more of a
A
misunderstanding.
tactical
Right.
misunderstanding.
I was just being nice to her. I was complimenting her that she got so many so far.
Well, I mean, for a woman, it's a lot easier. It's just not.
You think I said it wrong,
It's
Joe?
not even fair, dude. Women have a giant advantage, but they got to have something interesting to say.
Or a big
I
pair
think.
of tits.
Hey, Grunge
Or
Head,
that.
side of what?
I think he's asking you like, what are your thoughts on
Like,
it?
what do you think of this? I don't think he knows.
Pretty obvious what his stance is.
I didn't know anything about it really until now, and I think that I don't know. I've heard Andrew mention on his own streams that he's at smaller channels and encouraging people to reach out to him, which I thought was a very cool thing.
Right.
So I would be surprised if he was saying that in a way like, "Why would I do this?" I don't know.
Yeah,
Sounds like a misunderstanding, or
yeah, I don't think. I think, and that's the thing. I think people get really sensitive when they think like they're being talked about, and instead of realizing that they're using this as a hypothetical rather than a personal, like
in general type shit.
Yeah, and it's like, I use people all the time, like as examples, but I'm not saying necessarily I think this of this person. I'm like, if this is what this person, like, I mean, I talk about Myron and Fresh all the time, and like the whole, like, fake baby thingy deal, abortion thing. Like, doesn't mean I hate Myron or Fresh or I dislike them. I'm just saying I'm using this as an example to point out a bigger picture or a bigger problem, right?
Yes, but that's what I was taking, right? If you like, let's say me and Flo are friends. If one day I'm on someone's panel pointing out, that guy sucks at this or that, it doesn't mean that fucking I don't like Flo. I'll just point out an aspect. I said when he did something good. I said when he did something dumb.
Well, a perfect example is it was me. I think it was DL Saint. I don't know if Glenn was on that one or not. It was based, and I think we had one. It might have been. No, I'm trying to think. Was it you, Flo? No, but they were asking like these questions for like it was on base channel, and he was asking these questions, and he kept asking, what would you do if you had unlimited power? You became like a dictator.
Yeah, I was on that one. Yeah, I was on that one.
Yeah, so for like 2.5 hours or whatever, we were on this like giant struggle session, and we were asking things, and we were like, all right, well, what about this, this, and this, and then we were figuring out the scenarios. And as soon as the ladies came in, he asked them the same question, and that she was like, I can't believe you know about my relationship. Why would you say this? And we're like looking at each other going, what? It's the same question we've been talking about to the dudes for the last 2.5 hours. Why are you personalizing it? Yeah. So it's just the dynamics of trying to, when you're dealing with women, you have to, I don't know, you gotta, it's like men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's a different language.
That's the real reality of it, for real.
It is.
You love triggering six, bro.
Well, I mean, I love triggering feminists.
It's not just women, because guys take things personally too.
Yes.
We know that. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. Guys could get. I
don't necessarily know if we could classify those as guys, though.
Males. They were born with the same appendage as the rest of
males.
Okay, we'll call them males, but guys or men. I think that's using that term loosely.
Okay, I can roll with it.
They call them bitches if they fall.
Look who showed up.
I did reach out to
Easy's
Andrew.
Always watching.
I did reach out to Andrew.
What's good, Easy? Be easy, homie.
Oh, Speakeasy, what's up?
Who's
I did
always
reach out
watching.
to Andrew for hopefully do an interview at high noon. I reached out to his email, so I don't know if that's the right place. It looked kind of interesting, but so here's what I proposed about, like, if you're a big channel, let's say Flo, say I'm 1,000 subscribers and Flo is like 50,000, right?
Yeah.
And he comes and visits my channel. Now, let's say we operate about the same time zone or the same time of day. Well, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I understand that's like no shit, Captain Obvious. But there's only a limited amount of time, and there's only and you're going after audience, right? You're going after eyes. Attention is the currency you're seeking. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot unless you're doing like I know Tim Pool's got like Tenet. There was like Blaze Media. Unless you're making like kind of like a Flo and Based and Sarah and Ashley, and you know what I'm saying, or Speakeasy and Glenn, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're making
I
that kind of
don't
like
know your
a
point yet.
Why are you proposing?
You're talking about return on investment. It's not. There's not a good return on your time.
Why is you propose this as a hypothetical when this is the reality of what Flow State does? I mean, he was on Gen X Jeff, literally on the same show today.
But we're extrapolating out the benefit, the net positive or negative, or how would it have to be in order for it to be kind of a raising tide raises all boats kind of thing, maybe.
Well,
but I don't know if that works.
First of all, network effect. 2, interaction. You get to meet new people who would talk to you on a regular basis if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And 3, cross promotion.
Well, you got to figure like, okay, look, if a bigger channel is coming on your show, right? They have to see value in coming on your show.
You realize?
Well, they have to see value in you at first.
Yeah, you as the host, you as the creator.
Yes, that's all it's saying.
There's no big channel that hasn't been a smaller channel.
Exactly.
Right, and that's what Andrew said. That's exactly what Andrew said.
To what he's saying, they got to find value in you as a smaller creator that for you to even caught their attention.
But it can't just be value in the conversation. You guys,
no, it's not value in the conversation, but they have to, like, let's say they value
it has to benefit my channel. I think is
Chuck in Tennessee. I appreciate the 10 membership.
That's just patriotic sounding.
And there is a spot back on the panel for you, Chuck, if you want it.
Shit.
And what's the over under that Andrew's going to swing by again?
I was just messaging. He just messaged me right now.
Sweet, man.
I don't know.
I really enjoyed our conversation. He gave me a lot to think about. Actually, Based gave me something to think about too. When I expressed to him what Andrew had said, and then Based
it would be really interesting to see those two debate, but like on the same team, like do a 2-on-2, like.
Yeah.
It's sincere going back and forth with each other. I'd be okay with not talking over each other. I'd like to hear both.
I'm talking about like if it was them two versus another two, and like just because I think they both are very unique debaters, right? You know,
unique.
Obviously, I think Andrew
I
probably
think he meant
has
that in the best way, though. I do.
I think Andrew has like obviously more technical skills and technical training, and
right,
like, and he's been doing this quite a while, so he does have the upper hand when it comes to like the experience. But I think like from what I've seen Base debate and when he's debated people, like he has some skills too that I just think like the way that they both come at things, it would be really unique to see them go against like another team or something.
Well, yeah, because it's Based has morals, but on almost like a secular. He hasn't confirmed one way or another. And then you got Andrew, who's kind of got the well, he doesn't kind of. He's got the orthodox kind of religious moral.
You can't use that because Andrew doesn't always
But my point is,
not all of his arguments are based.
I hear.
Like he uses his belief system. He uses their own logic or reason or just common sense to show them how they're wrong. So I think that's kind of like
Base does a bit of that too.
It's kind of wrong to like just because someone is a Christian, right? Or they have this religious belief to say that they're using their religious belief as the foundation of their argument. Because that's not all the case that he does.
It better be if you have a moral belief.
It doesn't have to.
Or a religion. Any argument you have must be based in truth.
No,
making it a moral.
It could be a philosophy debate. So no, that's not true. It's not valid, Joko, because it could be a philosophy debate, and you have to use the axioms that's appropriate. So
you're still in
the debate.
Yeah, yes, and you would hold true to that, and you would still give. You would do it in honesty and sincerity, following the rules. Again, basing it in your morals, because I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do.
Right. I think if you're debating religion or a belief system versus a secular, then you would necessarily have to argue those. But I think to the point of not using the religion as a crutch or as an asset means that you're appealing to an authority that the other person might not understand or even acknowledge, like Glenn was saying. So you have to kind of set that quote unquote, I don't want to call it a crutch, but it's kind of like a woman crying to win a debate almost. You know what I mean? It's like, no, your feelings aren't going to win this one. You're not
That's
so, I mean, that's an interesting point, Glenn. I like that. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Well, like, okay, just because, all right, for example, I'm a very vocal believer in Christ. Everybody knows that I have my own belief in Christ. I'm a Christian. I am not a Christian actor. I'm a Christian who happens to be an actor and producer, right? So that doesn't mean everything that I do, every production, every work that I do has to be Christian. But what people do is they label your belief system and think that, oh, you're a Christian actor. No, I'm an actor that happens to be a Christian, right? You know, so for Andrew, he's a Christian debater, right? No, he's a debater that happens to have a belief in Christianity, right? And Orthodox Christianity at that, right? Yeah. So that doesn't mean he has to always debate from using Christian or ethics or whatever, you know, the Christian worldview. That's not true.
Did he start out as a Christian channel or as a debate channel?
He never started out as a Christian channel at all.
Do we agree that if you are a Christian or you have morals, that confines you in certain ways?
No,
you could only no.
I like where you're going with that, Joe.
He an actor, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, he ain't gonna play the devil, right? You wouldn't play the devil as a character, would you?
Actually, I did.
Unless you are outright saying I ain't playing the devil as a character.
I did in a music video.
Yeah.
They put me in the devil costume as a music video.
And you have
I would suggest that Christianity is actually the exact religion that would let you basically do whatever you wanted if you were so inclined to apply it that way.
Joe, can you continue to expound on that? Because I think you got a thread of something cool there.
If you're moral, you can't. Some of your rules would be I can't hurt anyone. So you may be using. Wait. So you may be using tactics that look like subterfuge or whatever you're using. But because I'm a moral person, I know I can't hurt anyone. It's just a tool for the moment. Now, if a person is not Christian or does not have morals, he's open to do more things. That's why I'm putting his morality and his Christianity first, because it dictates your fucking actions.
Well,
so you're saying
I have to follow my rules, not the rules you think I should have.
I have to follow your rules. I get it.
No, I follow my rules, not the rules you think I should have.
Yes, but we were talking about if both somebody, I think it was GS, was talking about Oracle and Andrew. Oracle was more of a moral person and he was more of a religious person. And I'm saying they both have certain restrictions. It'd be great. Maybe that was Glenn.
This is where I think people don't
make a mistake.
They make a mistake assuming just because someone says that they're a Christian, one, that means they know the Bible front and back, and they know that then they live this Bible life.
I wouldn't make that assumption, but I would
no, but like even their moralistic view.
He's undercover.
All right, interrupt. Thank you for the name change. Go ahead.
Thank you, Harmon.
I think like when it comes down to it, you know, again, our opinion on what we expect. See, we do
when we hear
expectations on
we put expectations on.
Yeah, we put expectations on Christianity or people who claim to be Christians.
Yes,
right.
And rightfully so, nigga. If it's
why is it rightfully
I have expectations of him. If he's a mechanic, I have expectations of him.
That can do anything. Then what makes you different from us? Like, you know,
yeah. Do you put expectations on a cop, a mechanic, a doctor? And rightfully you should.
No, I expect.
Religion's not the same thing.
I expect
I'm clear of that. Thank you, Mr.
I expect Christians to try to live a life that pleases Christ as best as they humanly possibly can. It's not that they're perfect. They're not going to always be the most perfect. They're not going to. It's not. They're never going to lie. That they're never going to hurt anybody.
That's not what a Christian is. No one expects that. When someone says Christian, no one is thinking of that, right? That's
So
not Christians are just regular people. However, if I join a club, a Black Panther, I can make assumptions. If I join a fire department, I can make an assumption about this dude.
And presumably, if it's coming up as a point at all, it's because the Christianity has been used.
Yep.
Oh, hey,
offensively as a talking point.
you want Andrew? You want Andrew to come on? He just hit me up. So can I
Sweet,
get the link?
yeah. I would love to have another
I'm gonna
conversation.
grab
with
the
him.
link. Send me the
Please
link.
do. And the freak, I think that you flexed on Hank. I appreciate you joining.
Hey, Drew, can you
Thank you.
Drew, or not Drew? The Flo, can you send me the link in the private chat, like just the invite link? All right.
Hey, can I ask Joe some questions? I want to flush out because I like where he's going with this. Are you okay with that, Joe?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so
Hold
I
on,
think
real quick.
I'm getting too much money.
So,
Mr. Pie, thank you for the super chat. It says you get a tea bag, you get a tea bag, everybody gets a tea bag. Oprah Winfrey.
Winfrey.
Nice. So in this scenario, so we're gonna exclusively use this scenario. Like when Glenn says, or whoever, I think it was Glenn says, if somebody uses Christianity at that point in time, they would have to stick to the precepts of that belief system, and they couldn't operate outside of it. So like what Joe is saying. All right, where's Joe? Did we lose him?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Sometimes his phone does weird service things.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh, he said, "Oops." Okay, hopefully he'll be back, man.
Yeah,
I really want him to hear
I
this.
just sent Andrew the link, so Andrew will be popping on probably here shortly.
Thanks for the money, dummies, because that's what you are. You gave me money for absolutely nothing.
I love that. That's my favorite, by the way. That every time I donate to you, I want to hear that one.
All right,
how much
thank you,
do I have to
Kings,
donate
for the
to hear that?
$10.
Oh,
that's $10. Okay.
Hey, Andrew.
There he is. What's up?
Hello,
Andrew?
how are you guys tonight?
Hey, good, you.
Hey, real quick, great. You got to tell Rachel she did a great job today on whatever.
Yeah, she always does a good job.
Yeah, that was great to see her.
That was kind of a rough. It's kind of a rough panel. I guess most of the panel canceled. They had 10 cancellations same day.
Damn,
well, it's kind of funny,
yeah.
right? Like they don't want to go against Rachel.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I don't know if that's the reason, or I mean, I think maybe twice a year or something like that probably happens anyway. So
yeah.
I don't actually know what the reasons for it are.
So Andrew, we were discussing.
Yeah. So what's up, guys? I was just winding down, about to crack a beer, but I got somebody said you got to hop on this panel. They wanted to pick your brain about something.
Tell us you heard
like,
the part about.
Okay, so can we give them like a recap real quick? So
sure. You do it.
Sarah has her stream set up for tomorrow, and like your name and Base Oracle's name was enlisted in there. Something about she's not mad, she's disappointed, and like we were just like, oh,
we're still talking about that shit?
Yeah, that's not what I wanted to talk about.
Apparently, like that's where it started from. We're talking about that, and then we were talking about like what you said, like how you were just using that as an example, that you weren't using her channel per se, like you had an issue with her channel per se.
Big channel.
But you were talking about
I thought we'd evolve from that conversation to something else, though.
Yeah, me too. It's obvious why a bigger channel visits a smaller channel. If you don't believe it, just that slow state.
So what Joe and I were talking about, and if you don't mind, Glenn, I apologize, man. Just kick me in the balls next time you see me, dude. I know you could bench press me like above your head. I know you could, dude. I'm believing you.
It's no point.
And I'm a big dude. So we were talking about like a secular versus a religious debate, and if someone uses religion, then they have to stay with the precepts of religion, and not like, for instance, if your precept is you're not allowed to use manipulation or deception because that's a lie and the devil's a liar, right? And you couldn't use that debate tactic if you necessarily started off by trying to use religion as a cudgel, which is something you don't often do. You're like,
Are you supposed to use lying as a debate tactic at all?
I don't agree with it. But what I'm saying is, if the precept is, it's like a woman.
Well, no, I mean that would be bad. I mean that would be bad faith, though, right? If somebody lies during a debate, that would be bad faith. So it wouldn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know which, but the thing is debates are dependent upon worldview paradigm.
Yeah.
So all debates are dependent on paradigm. So
But that's
depending on what the
Joe's question, though, right there, Andrew. His question.
So hang on, I'll explain it to you so that you know. So worldview.
There was also the point they're saying that, like, well, because you're a Christian channel. I'm like, no, Andrew is not. His channel is not a Christian channel.
I never said that. I didn't say
Okay,
that. I don't think
will you guys let him respond?
It was brought up as like, Andrew's a Christian who happens to debate. He's not a Christian debater.
All right.
There. Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, so this will answer both those questions. So debates are about worldviews and paradigms. That's what they're about. So you can debate outside of your worldview and paradigm. That's not a problem. Just it's propositionally dependent. So somebody could make a proposition that they wanted to do a debate external to all Christian ethics and just argue from a secularist perspective. There's nothing wrong with that. Your personal paradigm is not dependent on the logic of a true or false statement or a true or false proposition.
Agreed.
So none of that. I mean, it's not relevant. It's not relevant if a person is a Christian and doing a debate and uses zero Christian arguments. It's totally irrelevant.
All right, you can debate anything.
I guess the question it would be, Joe would say, if you're using something that would be not Christian, say your worldview is I'm a Christian, but I'm going to have a debate, and then I use a non-Christian
By the way, I am using
like lying,
morals analogy.
I'm getting too much money.
Yeah,
I'm using morals and Christianity the same way. I'm saying moral men and Christians are bound by certain rules, codes, ethics.
And let's say
they're bound by those codes. Yeah, they're bound by those codes and ethics. That's true, but debates also have rules.
Agreed.
So in order to have a logical debate, you have to presuppose that the opposition is being honest. The opposition is not being honest, then you're not having a logical debate. You're having something else. I don't know what that would be, but it's not a debate about logic. So I mean, you can only appeal one way to logic. So it's either going to be true or it's not going to be true. So whether you lie about it or not, it's going to follow or not follow one way or the other.
It depends on what's the goal. Is the goal a quest for the truth and logic, or is the goal to win? You could have someone that doesn't mind swaying the crowd and using oration, and because that will get him his victory, as opposed to chasing logic, having the true victory.
Well, then you're just making.
You mean so you can? That's true. You can utilize rhetoric for the purpose of swaying the crowd, but that doesn't mean that you've won the actual debate.
I mean, I know you
because debates are still logic dependent. So.
But I'm saying flat earth versus so and so, and you're just doing a poll. Let's see who wins. You sway the crowd, you win. But you've lost in my eyes. But just swaying the crowd and saying a bunch of bullshit can give you what's considered a win. It wouldn't be a
Joe, you're literally making his argument for him, though, then, because now you're not having a debate.
Yeah, I agree. That's totally true. So you can win the crowd over with rhetoric alone. That's true, but that doesn't mean you won the argument.
Right. That just means it's two wolves in a sheep.
So that means the argument's going to be won or lost on the proposition. So is the Earth flat? Is a true false proposition. It either is or it isn't. It can't be both. It can't be flat and round.
All right. I know.
Sure, it can.
Well, it depends how you define flat. So
and round.
It depends
on how you define round as well.
I want to state this again.
Let the sparking begin.
Regardless, if you have a definition of flat Earth and I have a definition of round Earth, and they're two different definitions, only one can be true or both are false. There can't be anything in between. Either both can be false or one can be true.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about winning a debate. If right now, me and you are having a debate on flat Earth on the show, Earth Flow show, and there's $1,000 at stake to the winner, I can lose the argument through my insincerity, but win the debate and get the $1,000. That is my statement.
Well, yeah, but you haven't won the argument, so you haven't actually won the debate. So all you're appealing to then is like a vote system, like who votes and what decider are we appealing to for who won or lost. But The argument itself has not been won or lost. It's just that you can sway the crowd based on rhetoric. I don't disagree with that at all.
And there's a lot of that nonsense in the debate world, right? People do dumb shit and use tactics.
Well, yeah, rhetoric's important, but here's the thing. If you have really good rhetoric and no logic, you go up against somebody who has really good rhetoric and appeals strongly to logic, you're probably going to lose. So,
agree, yes.
How is that determined? Isn't it public opinion?
I think there's two metrics.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying. I think that you sway. I think you sway. I think you sway the most amount of the public, though, utilizing both.
But who wins is a better question. Just because you sway the crowd doesn't mean you've won.
Well, who wins propositionally would just be true or false, right? It's either true or it's not true. So whoever, if both determine that it's true, then I mean, you won the debate. That's it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I think what he's asking is there's
it
ad populum, you win the crowd, or there's the moderator as well. Because isn't that in blood sports where they kind of you're trying to get people to go, yeah, he lost, or like kind of like a coliseum.
That's less of a.
Well, no, I mean those are entailed to be left open for interpretation for who wins or who loses. I've never really been in one where there's a decider other than appealing to like some bunch of audience members voting or something, which isn't particularly useful.
Your favorite way to debate, would it be a good faith? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, unless you get the opponents who just literally concede the debate like Andrew did to Matt Dillahunty. He just stormed out. So that's one way to win.
Yeah.
So given your druthers, Andrew, would you prefer to have a very good faith, back and forth, well-intentioned, intellectually honest conversation? And let's say everything was in good faith and you didn't dislike the person, or would you sometimes you just really want to dunk on someone? Like, I mean, really dunk on them?
Well, I mean, I vastly prefer if my opponent is bad faith rather than good faith. It makes the job of a debater much easier. Yeah, it makes the job of a debater much easier. If your opposition is
challenge of it though.
Yeah, how is it?
It's not it's less challenging. If your opposition is
what I'm saying is
if your opposition is arguing in bad if your opposition's arguing in bad faith, your job is easy, not hard.
Because
if your opposition's arguing
because you just need to expose them.
Yeah, well, it's super easy because they're
generally they expose themselves.
Well, no, it's not the exposing, right? But usually people argue in bad faith because they can't appeal to their own argument or logic for their argument. They're using emotion or they're using something else. So they tend to divert, they tend to move away, or they tend to try to argue other things. But if you hold to whatever the initial prompt is, they basically they're going to get the more bad faith they are, the worse it is on them.
But do you like a rigorous debate? Was my question.
Somebody's got feedback?
I think that's Jay.
Yeah, of course. I'm just you just asked me what I prefer in an opponent. Would I prefer one who is good faith or bad faith? I would actually prefer bad faith because it makes my job easier. But what do I enjoy more? I enjoy having a good spirited debate with a good faith interlocutor, and we're arguing over something that we both care about.
Okay, yeah. That's kind of what I was hoping your answer would be.
Back to the thing earlier, what Glenn was talking about with the why would you go on smaller channels thing. I didn't see that discussion at all. I totally missed it. What was the point you were making though? It sounds like she took it personally, but I'm assuming it wasn't personal because I've heard you say on your own streams that
it's really funny.
Smaller channels to contact you.
Well, just so you understand, here's how women often will perceive what you're saying. So here's how the conversation went with Sarah when I was trying to explain this broader concept. I'd say, hey, Sarah, I want a coffee shop that has 2 lines. And Sarah says, but my coffee shop doesn't work like that. Right? Okay, yeah, but I want to get a coffee shop that has 2 lines. Yeah, but my coffee shop doesn't work like that. Yeah, I get it, but it has nothing to do with your coffee shop, right? I'm talking about a generality of what I want to see in a coffee shop. That's
exactly
what I'm saying.
how it
has
went
nothing
down,
to do
too.
with your coffee shop. Okay,
exactly
so the point, all the point was that I was trying to make was that essentially, if you're looking at what would be considered, and this is all scalable, right? So I don't consider myself a large creator at all. I'm still a small creator. You guys are small creators. Great, perfect. But it's scalable. So for somebody who has 100 live viewers, someone who has 500 live viewers seems like a big creator. Someone with 500 live viewers seems like someone who has thousands is a big one, or tens of thousands. It's all scalable, right? So if the goal is to get the larger creator over to your channel, there's one of two ways you can do it. One, you can appeal to the fact that, they were a small channel once and they probably had some breaks, and it's kind of their way of doing a community give back. That's probably the worst way to appeal to them. Because as you might know, most people forget that they had help on their way up, possibly from other benevolent creators or something like this. And will just kind of throw that by the wayside and become kind of clout hungry sharks. The second way to appeal to them is by offering something to them some sort of incentive that they would like. And so the point I was trying to make when we're talking about the interview I did on Sarah's channel was, look, think about this objectively from a larger creator standpoint to a smaller one. If you're a person who has 2, 3, 4, 5 live viewers, right? So it's you and your mom and your sister and your brother who all watch your show. And you ask somebody who has thousands of live viewers and gets hundreds of thousands or millions of views or whatever it is to come on your channel, you're not really able to offer them much. You're kind of really going to be appealing to either, we're going to be able to make some good content together because I'm a fantastic creator, which is hard for them to believe, because if you were, you probably wouldn't only have 4 or 5 people watching you. Or, and again, just so you know, I'm speaking in generalities. I'm not talking about her channel specifically. I'm just speaking in a generality. Or, maybe you can appeal to them for some other type of content that they would really like, right? But let's assume that one of them does come on. Well, that's a big break, right? That's a big break because it makes it easier for you to net larger creators next time, because you can point back to this content with another large creator. So let's say you're going to have like E. Michael Jones on, followed by, I don't know, like Jay Dyer or something. Okay. And you have a 30 viewer channel. Well, those are going to be big gets for you. But if you wanted to go to Jay Dyer to get him on, it'd be much easier to do if you pointed to the fact that E. Michael Jones already came on, right? But if you go onto a channel and you do, like, let's say an interview like I did with Sarah, and then after that, her show format is that she opens it up to a panel environment, which is fine, right? That's her channel. She should be able to do what she wants. But let's assume the next large creator goes back and goes, oh, Andrew was on? Well, let's go take a look at that. And so they go and they take a look at the channel, and then they watch the interview and they go, wow, this went really well. And they stick around for the panel afterwards and they see a bunch of people trashing the creator who was on. If that were to happen, the incentive for that now new creator to come in and do anything good for that channel would greatly diminish. Because from their perspective, they would think, I'm moving an audience over here, which is my audience, right? I'm moving them here to expose them to your channel. And all I would be doing ultimately is exposing them to people who don't like me. Right. Whereas if I don't engage with your channel, they're never going to have to listen to you trash me. Right. That's the point of what we were talking about. And I was just using this as an example of this dynamic because it was asked, like, that was what the topic of the discussion was kind of the what is perceived as the large creator versus small creator dynamic.
And what was Sarah's take on all of this?
We don't really know.
Her take is, but I didn't do that though. Which is like, so what? I'm not saying you did. It really has nothing to do with anything I'm saying.
But that's not what I did.
She personalized it when it was. Bro, is that the guy who argued with Wes Watson and made him shit his pants?
Wait, who, this cat?
Yeah, Andrew.
This guy.
I love how his brain exploded when the concept of, I got $5 in my pocket. I don't need to be a squirt boy and wax my car and jerk off in the mirror to
want to fight. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, nobody except the I don't know, kind of the empty cups of the world. Give a flying fuck about your Bugatti or your Lamborghini. Nobody gives a shit, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody who operates in the real world gives a flying fuck about that. They want enough money to take care of their responsibilities, and they don't really care that much about it past that.
Hey, Andrew,
and why would they? They have non-material things which are far more important.
I reached out to you, Andrew. I interviewed Jericho Green, 369,000 subscribers. He was my first high noon interview, and you can check it out. I treated him like a gentleman. I would absolutely love to. porchdicknation@gmail.com. I reached out to you. I would love to have you on.
Didn't you just say that last night?
I did, but I sent him an email, and I feel like a girlfriend who's being ignored.
We'll the team will look through it, man. They
I wasn't sure if it was the right way, because some folks were saying Discord is better for you or something, or
well, Twitter or Instagram. I see those DMs a lot faster than email. So
I
don't like email, right? It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass.
Okay,
Andrew, here's the question for you since we got you here. All right, so I proposed this in a Substack that I wrote that your wife actually enjoyed. But the question was like,
wait, Glenn, you're lying, dude. There ain't no way you can write.
Hey, I did, and I didn't edit
you ate the crayon.
I had someone else edit it for me, but I wrote it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like and it wasn't a pop-up book or anything.
No, it's not even with pictures. Like, it was actually words.
No, not even. It didn't even have doodles, bro. Oh my god, I'm so proud of you, Glenn. I'm so proud of you, Glenn.
I got me so the crux of it is like a lot of these things like Red Pill, you can say even the Tradcons, they point out feminism is the problem, but they don't really do anything to attack feminism or to combat feminism. I would say a lot of like the individual prescriptions that you hear in like the manosphere space are not to eradicate feminism, but how to benefit from feminism. So would you say?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been tons and tons of them that I've had on where when I ask them to delineate themselves from a feminist, they essentially concede that they are feminist. But I think that this is isolated to one section, which taps into the red pill content creator space, which are the pickup artists or the people who essentially profit on degeneracy. So the people who profit on degeneracy, it actually behooves them to have sexually liberated women around, because then they can teach men how to fuck them, right? That's the whole point.
Damn. So you could say, well, they're not about eradicating feminism; they benefit from feminism. You could also say,
well, they don't just benefit from it; they would actually be assisting in the promotion of the core tenet of which keeps feminism afloat, which is sexual liberation. Yeah, absent sexual liberation, there is no feminism. It becomes the society necessarily becomes 100% patriarchal. The second sexual liberation goes away.
So
and there's no way around it, because women's bartering power is with their body, not force. Men's is with force and not their body. So ultimately, since men have a monopoly on force, absent women's sexuality, there is really nothing to check patriarchal systems at that point. That's why the sexual revolution was such a pinnacle movement for feminism, and it was what was talked about when feminism first got its roots in the 1800s.
It's logical.
Yeah, so like that's what I need to point out. It's not so much like these guys actually hate them when they hate feminism. They don't hate feminism. They actually.
Well, they confuse it with wokeism. I think that they hate wokeism. I think that they don't like the purple-haired sky screamer, let me film my abortion women. I think that they absolutely loathe them. But being woke is not synonymous with feminism. I mean, I can show you right-wingers who are woke. I would say Ben Shapiro is woke. Okay, yeah. I think his policies are pretty woke. So the thing is ultimately, I think that they confuse and conflate the two. Feminism is simply two things. The first is the movement towards egalitarianism between men and women, and the second is the rejection of patriarchy. Both of those components must be present, or it's not feminism, it's something else besides that.
Ain't they the same thing? Egalitarian is equality. It's the same shit.
Well, egalitarianism is
that's true, but you could have a movement towards egalitarianism without rejecting patriarchy until you get to an X threshold point. Yeah, so you get to an X threshold point, and then you must reject patriarchy, because otherwise you can't have equality unless you reject patriarchy, right?
At some point, you're right.
Yeah, it's not possible. So
I got a question about the quote unquote red pill compared to what you do, Andrew, if I may be entertained on this. So Schadenfreude, right? So the German, meaning harm joy, so to speak. So the interesting thing is, if we grant that about 40% of the population of men will never pass on their genetics, right? There's a lot of lonely dudes out there that have been rejected. No, I mean, I'm not taking shots. I'm not. I'm just being practical. So you got a lot of lonely dudes out there that have been rejected, and and maybe when they're in church, then finally this chick has been run through. We've heard all the tropes. Now she wants to be a born again virgin. And then she wants to finally settle on the guy that she blew off for the first 10 years when she was, fertile and had something to offer him. Right. So the Schadenfreude aspect of it, which is interesting, because take whatever, for example, it's an interestingly brilliant model where you do have aspects of good opportunities to have discussions that are meaningful if there's the ability to have an open dialogue and an intellectually honest interchange or intercourse of the conversation. That often doesn't happen, and then you get the Schadenfreude of being able to spend money to kind of go, F you, lady, you ignored me in high school, and I would have been your best shot. And yeah, a lot of times these nerds would have really taken good care of these women, right? And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's so interesting to me that it's kind of like a perfect recipe of there's this a release almost. The content provider brings in these women that are kind of like, not really there.
I'm really
the guys
high,
want to dig on them a little
all over
bit.
the place because I don't understand. But admittedly, I'm.
Well, you're giving a psychoanalysis and overcomplicating something that's far simpler than what you're describing.
Recap.
Human beings are always going to be interested in the interpersonal dynamics between men and women. It's probably one of the most interesting things on planet Earth. Most of the hero arcs, heroes' journeys, most interactions on planet Earth revolve around these two types of interactions: violence and the interpersonal dynamics between men and women. Those are the two things people are the most interested in. So what happens is people will often map their fucking nonsensical psychoanalysis onto, it's fucking revenge nerd porn, bro. No, it's not revenge nerd porn. You have tons of married people who watch this, tons of single women who watch it, tons of single men who watch it. You have tons of people across the board who watch this, the same reason they follow politics or they follow sports, because they really like interpersonal conflict. And interpersonal conflict and interpersonal dynamics is super interesting to everybody almost.
So it's Schadenfreude. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because what you keep doing is you keep on mapping on that there's some kind of like revenge nerd porn going on here.
No, I'm just saying what I'm saying. I think it's a brilliant company model. It encompasses all these different little aspects of it, and it's kind of a brilliant model, if you ask me.
Well, I think so, but I'm not sure that it is because of whatever this other term is that you're mapping on. So I was listening patiently for you to kind of give me the example of what this Schadenfreude is or whatever.
It's when you derive pleasure from the harm to others.
Right. So
yeah, but that's not what's going on. I just explained. That's not
exactly what Andrew said.
It's an evolutionary, social gatekeeping.
Yeah, the dynamic of the interpersonal relationships of human beings is interesting. It doesn't require harm. It's not necessary. That's not what makes them interesting to people.
Right.
That it can be a component which makes them interesting.
But there's a lot of biting comments. Admittedly, Andrew, there's a lot of dunking going on.
Yeah,
Some
but
of these broads, right?
so what? Yeah, so what? They could be one aspect.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's a business
So what I'm saying is that as a conversation evolves, it's going to have ebbs, flows, ups, and downs.
Right.
So it could be ups, which happen, where you see the super chats and the chatters who are talking, they become interested in a different dynamic of the conversation.
Right.
That doesn't have anything to do with the sexual promiscuity or anything like that. But maybe
It's
something
just
like,
basic
"Oh,
dynamics of normal."
my mom was terrible too. My mom was terrible too." Or, "Yeah, my father was a great man." Exactly. Point. That's a great point. Blah 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 blah. They're interested in the interpersonal dynamics of people. They're not there for the harm aspect. The interpersonal dynamic of a Christian conservative white woman verbally discussing her worldview with like a Chinese OnlyFans hooker is fucking interesting. Okay? Now, for everybody who wants to dunk on that and say, "Well, wait a second, I'm sure it's a low IQ, therefore I'm offended." Blah, blah. You found it fucking interesting and you were watching it. Just stop. It's interesting as fuck because it's a dynamic. It's like, it would be like taking, I don't know, if you look at the Discovery Channel and they find like a lost tribe in the Amazon who has never made contact with human beings, right? You're going to stop and watch that shit because it's super interesting to see what happens between the dynamic of people who know nothing about the civilizations of the external world, meeting with them for the first time. It gives you an hourglass into the past that you'll never get in any other context. So it's super duper interesting.
Yeah.
That's what people find interesting about the show is the interpersonal dynamics. The conflict, sure, there's tons of people who like that part as well. But even people when they're bored will continue to watch because they enjoy the interpersonal conflict or the interpersonal dynamics.
All right, we got to do percentages then. I think I'm leaning
Hey,
with yes.
hold on, Joe. Hold on, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up a spot for Rachel.
Heck yeah.
Does anyone want to volunteer? Otherwise, Jalen,
I've talked a lot, and I appreciate the time. And man, I really would love to stay on the panel.
You always try to run, GS. Just stop. Just say you want to leave.
I want to stay.
Say you want to leave. Stop.
I don't want to suck all the oxygen out of the room.
chopping block.
All right.
Well, Jalen left.
That makes sense.
Jalen, you can come back. You just had the bad mic.
Yeah, that's right.
The feedback.
Hey, I'll drop the link for Rachel in my chat.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say a lot of those people that are there are there for they've been hurt. That aspect is there. I've seen that aspect, and I ain't seen 10 minutes of it combined.
And they want to watch somebody else get hurt on the panel.
You're just like mapping your own bullshit onto it, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, so
but
the interesting
you're saying, oh, the super chatters. This super chatter chatted in and said something mean about this chick. Okay, what about the super chatter who chatted in and said, "Man, it's really sad that the world is in such a state that this is where we're at, where we're even having to have this conversation." That's super interesting, and has nothing to do with them being in a bad spot or being horrible.
Yeah,
or,
I think we're saying both exist. Both exist.
Yeah, but nobody would ever retract from the fact that there's going to be some people who watch things like that and have motivations which are externalized, but that's not really why shows like that capture people.
Right. I would say the big chunk is what you're talking about. And the other part is probably just more vocal.
Subjectively, I enjoy Fresh and Fit nighttime less than I enjoy whatever, which I enjoy less than when I enjoy watching you have debate. Heck, I enjoyed watching you play Helldivers too, man. I enjoyed that. I went and bought the game. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I mean, but I'm not even trying to be combative. I'm just trying to give you the perspective, having participated in all of those things, all of those shows, and that game even. Right? What captures people and what draws them in and what really makes it interesting for them. And this is where content creators in general, especially female content creators, really, really fuck it all up. Female content creators will only look at a dynamic of how people operate through a sense of self. So everything goes through the prism of them, right? But what I think is this. What I think is that they never externalize the situation, and so it becomes far less interesting. It's too. If you have two women, for instance, on a show talking to each other, what it is one's talking about themselves and the other one's talking about themselves, and that fucking shit sucks.
100%.
It's not helpful
Boring.
to but what makes it boring? But what makes it boring? What makes it boring is that there's no worldview competition. There's no real interaction or dynamic there. And that's why it's boring.
Closing for me. Yeah, I get it.
That's what makes it boring. And so this what I'm saying is that female content creators, now not all of them, some of them are quite good at. Pearl Davis is one who's really, really good at mapping paradigms against each other, and that's why her show is super popular and why she became such a megalo successful creator. But most women don't do that. They just sit and talk about them fucking selves all day. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. You're not that interesting.
I agree.
Right? You're not very interesting. That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Usually it's the guest that drives it for me on most of these shows with the women on it because they'll just sit there and go, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not here to just watch paint dry. Say something.
Well, right. Well, and like a commenter said, well, it's friction that drives it. It's not always friction that drives it, though. In fact, not even most of the time. But it's seeing how two different people interpret the same question or the same view from the third, fourth, or fifth party who's asking it. Like, what do you think about Trump? Now we have something, right? Now we have two different diametrically opposed worldviews who are going to give you two different answers, and you can introspectively understand why each is giving that answer. And then if they're talking to each other about those reasons, that becomes fucking interesting.
It's more appealing than fucking flat earther talking around earth.
Yeah.
It's
People
appealing,
want
just the different dynamics.
People want to see different worldviews, and how they react with each other. That is interpersonal dynamics, and that's why you'll see people like. Let's take a really easy example. You work with a guy, and he tells you, "Man, I got a date." Well, have you ever met this chick? No, but she seems cool, blah, blah, blah. The next day around the cooler, everybody's walking over and being like, bro, how'd your date go last night? Why? Right. Because they're interested in how this guy I know, and I know his worldview, how did that interact with this other unknown worldview? That's super fucking interesting, right?
To me,
that's it.
You think that's got more appeal than drama?
Drama is only surface. The reason that drama channels always die out and drama streamers always end up becoming eventually irrelevant is because they only focus on this thing you're talking about, which is the friction aspect, right? Yeah. They only know how to do one thing, in other words, make the stick hot enough to create a fire. But it's like, that is actually a very feminine. That's actually a very feminine way to move it forward. So go ahead.
What's the question? I didn't necessarily mean like drama or conflict. I meant just but two people agreeing with each other, a conversation ended.
It will die out, but it's still appealing. The fact that you answer with "it will die out" doesn't change his question. Isn't it? It has its appeal. I would say drama has a bigger appeal.
But I started the answer with yes, but and then I get a qualifier. Yes, drama can be appealing to people, right? But it relies heavily on only one aspect of interpersonal dynamics, which is friction and conflict. In friction and conflict, we don't always watch action movies. Sometimes we want to see a comedy, right? Sometimes we want to see.
You wouldn't put that the bigger audience. I put friction and conflict as the bigger audience. Most people prefer those. In fact, they got studies where they show the negative imagery and the brain react more heavily than something peaceful. Loving.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess that must be why Joe Rogan is so popular, because he's like just drama baiter, right?
No, because you give me one example.
He's not. No, he's the biggest example. He's the biggest podcaster on planet Earth. He's not a drama streamer, bro.
He's right.
Yes, great. Don't change the fucking. It doesn't change the argument.
I didn't
right?
change anything. I didn't change anything. I just told you the truth. The truth is you're wrong. You're wrong. You can point to drama channels, which you can point to drama channels, which are big, but the biggest fucking channels on planet Earth are not drama channels. Fox News isn't a drama channel. Joe Rogan's not a drama channel. CNN's not a drama channel.
I am not arguing Joe Rogan is a drama channel. Why are you flipping out right now? Stay with the argument. Yeah, I am saying that you.
That's because you don't understand the argument, dude. You're too dumb to understand what I'm saying. What am I saying? Steelman, what I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
Steelman, what I'm saying. No, just Steelman, what I'm saying, bro. Stop saying I'm not making an argument. Steelman, the argument. Steelman, the argument, bro. Don't care. Steelman, the argument, bro. Steelman, the argument.
I'm not interested.
Steelman. Okay, good. Then shut up if you're not interested. Shut up while we talk.
Yes, thank you.
Andrew, I got a question.
Yeah,
for
thank you. Shut up while we talk then if you're not interested in the argument.
So, Andrew, based on what you're saying,
I'm not interested in stealing, man. In your
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You're still talking, bro. You're not here to argue. You're just here to bitch.
Let me welcome Rachel Wilson. It looks like the chat's saying you want to debate or something.
No, you guys invited me on, so I thought I would show up and say hi.
Welcome,
Rachel.
Rachel.
I mean, I'll debate if you want. I was just saying that.
Well, no, the comments were congratulating you on something that happened earlier.
Yeah, I was on whatever.
She was on whatever.
Oh, nice.
And what happened?
So thoughts on this? According to what Andrew was saying, though, the ebb and flow, like Bruce Lee said, be like water, right? When I expand, you contract, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a dance, I think, is what Andrew's saying. There's some friction, but there's also some give and some take, and that's what makes it interesting. Is that kind of what you're saying, Andrew?
All I was asking was for a percentage. That's all I was trying to ask for.
Wait,
I mean, bigger.
Are you
80% of all stats are made up on the spot. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Miss Rachel.
You're asking me, is this about, we're talking about the whatever podcast and what the magic recipe is? Is that what it is?
I don't know, but I'm willing to listen to that.
No, we're going on what Andrew was saying about like Joe Rogan
trying
being
to break
more of a
up
conversation.
The locked horns.
More of a conversation versus friction.
No, it's not about a conversation. It's about, like Andrew was saying, he's correct. It's about the clash in worldviews. Interpersonal conflict does get some views, but what keeps people coming back for more and what gets the conversation going and what gets the viral clips is not just interpersonal drama. It's these bigger questions of how do you view life? How do you know right from wrong? How do we look at things and how do we interpret things? Like, that's the thing that keeps people coming back. And yes, interpersonal conflict is part of that, but it's about a bigger question of worldviews and how we determine what we're doing in life and what's right and wrong. Like these girls that I was on with tonight couldn't fucking tell me that. Yeah. They couldn't tell. They were just like, I just feel like blah. And I'm like, so, like one girl said, everyone should just be able to do what they want. And I said, okay, so if there's a guy down on the street who wants to, beat his meat in front of everybody in the street, he should just be able to do that. And she was like, right. So like, it's more about like, how do you determine what you think things should be like, or what's right and wrong, or how people should behave, or why people do certain things. It's more about that.
Yeah, I dig it.
And too often what people do is they debate how they feel things should be rather than the way things actually are, or the way what they should really be. Like just because you feel
but that's but you keyed in there, Glenn, on something important. That in and of itself is a worldview paradigm.
Yeah.
How I feel, right? If that is how you interpret the entirety of the world and purpose and morality and everything in between, that is a paradigm.
Yeah.
And so if you mix how I feel with how I logically interpret the world, perhaps like a male and female dynamic, which what you so often see, one producing I feel equals worldview, one producing I think, which produces worldview. When you mix those together, right, it doesn't even always cause conflict, but it's stupefying in many ways to watch because you can't even make sense of how it could be that people can be this diametrically different from one another.
Right.
Even if they're just neighbors with each other.
I think that's why these dating podcasts are so incredibly popular and why people will say they hate them, but that they can't stop watching them. Right?
The
That's what
philosophical portion of the content is what you think the big draw is.
Opposing
worldviews.
People don't realize
I see
portions of
like
the
shows
content-
that have like opposing worldviews and
Yes,
stick to
but
that
all of those
without like
so that
the
you-
without
so
the
that you
drama and the
understand-
tits and everything. Don't really get that many
all of
views.
those, I mean, Joe Rogan doesn't get any views. You're right.
But Joe Rogan isn't just and it's also not a great example of a show that's about like philosophical debate. There's a lot more content on
but
Joe
it is.
Rogan than
it is,
No,
but
no,
people
no,
don't
it
realize
is.
it. People just don't
You don't
realize
know.
that.
and Fox
because you
News
don't
doesn't get
understand that-
anywhere near as many viewers as like The Walking Dead, for example.
Yes, but The Walking Dead is a ginormous show about philosophy. You just don't realize it.
Right.
Yep.
You don't understand what the dynamics of
Which everything is a show about philosophy.
Correct.
So
Correct. It is.
But when you just talk straight philosophy, most people get bored and tuned out. When you do
That's
it with
not true.
tits,
They get-
when you do
Nope.
it with tits and
Nope.
fighting
Nope.
and insults,
You're wrong
and
about that.
The
You're wrong
debate
about
world
that too.
bullshit. That's what makes
Bro,
it
you're
popular.
wrong about this too.
Well, I mean, it's a very convincing argument. I'm convinced you're right.
Yeah. Well, you gotta let me give the argument before you say you're not convinced. Why my counter argument that I haven't given yet.
Well, I was listening for like 12 minutes.
You were listening to what? All you did was come in and say,
make your argument.
and say, oh, these other shows, which are way fucking bigger, and all they do is talk about pure philosophy, and they have way more live viewership than any of these other shows. Well, they're less successful. Why? Why? Why
Yeah,
are
you
the
lost
biggest fucking shows not shows where there's tits and yelling and screaming and drama? Why?
But they are.
No, they're not.
But they're not.
Yes, they are. And like
No, they're
especially
not.
Joe Rogan?
even on TV.
Joe Rogan's not. Tucker Carlson's not. None of them are, bro. You're full of shit. Why are they bigger?
Yeah,
What was the second one you said?
So
I said Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. Why are they bigger?
Tucker Carlson's not bigger than drama shows.
Denizen, when you go past the car
Yes,
crash, do you look-
Tucker Carlson's not bigger than drama shows. The number one cable broadcaster in the entire world was not bigger than drama shows. Really?
That's correct.
I got
And
a
that's the
question.
point.
Denizen,
Drama show is bigger
Denizen.
than Joe Rogan.
Okay. Can you tell
bigger
me
than
a drama
Tucker.
show that was bigger than Tucker Carlson, the prime time cable news anchor in the entire world? Can you give me one show that was bigger than him that you can think of? That was
How
a
many
drama
views
show? Just
does
one.
How many views does Tucker get on a
Well, you
daily
should
basis
already know
when he's
that.
on
You
Fox?
made the argument.
Yeah.
I do. It was millions, in the few of millions, not the tens of millions.
Okay,
No, it was hundreds of millions, fool. It was hundreds of millions globally, hundreds of millions of views, including his clips, everything else. The guy was an absolute powerhouse. Do you think that they were paying him $500 million a year because nobody was watching the shit or what?
I never said nobody was watching it.
No, he was.
I just said it's not as big as major drama shows.
Bro, yeah, which
Then
major
you just
drama
said that
show?
he's wrong, but you don't have anything to
Bro,
support it.
which major drama show? Which one?
All right, I want to see if Denizen's.
Can he answer the question? Hang on. Can a man answer a question? What bigger
go
drama
ahead.
show was there?
He's not going to answer it though.
Chill.
He's not gonna. Yeah.
Well,
Can he
I'm
answer the
asking.
question?
I'm asking the
Can he
internet
an-
how many
Yeah,
views.
can he answer my question, bro? What drama
Go ahead,
show was
just go
bigger?
I'm trying to. I'm asking the internet how
You
many
don't know.
viewers.
So just say you don't know.
Wow.
All right, Dennis,
Just say, I don't know, and I made. So just say my source was I made it up. Just say my source was I made that shit up.
Well, no, the source is the internet that I'm about to quote. If you allow me to.
came up with a
Oh,
panel
okay.
that
Wait.
was
So
started
just
an
so that we
argument
got
about
this
something you
right,
had no
you made
clue
an
about.
assertion. You didn't have the information. You made it up.
Well, no, I googled what the average viewer for Fox News viewers was before I brought it
You're
up.
supposed to do the research first.
I only want to hear Dennis
Yeah.
and Andrew talk.
I'm gonna go.
Then debate.
You're gonna give me a. Yeah, wait. You're gonna give me a
Go eat,
post hoc
Rachel.
justification.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your
You're gonna give me a post hoc justification for your original
I'm-
assertion that you didn't know.
I'm gonna repeat the same thing if you allow me to. It's gonna be up to whether
Go
you can
ahead.
shut up long enough to hear the answer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, according to the internet, Tucker Carlson received
Uh-huh.
tens of millions of views on a regular basis, and according to
Uh-huh.
that same internet, certain episodes of The Walking Dead doubled that, tripled that, quadrupled that. Does that mean that The Walking Dead is
No, bro. I said a drama show. This is going to be genre specific.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if The Walking Dead is not a drama show, then I concede the argument.
No. This is you're talking about two different categories.
Yeah.
Two totally different categories.
That's the whole point.
We're
the point is talking about two different categories.
Bro. But even
I'm getting too much money.
The Walking Dead, you can have some episodes that you could point to, but overall, Tucker Carlson still beat out The Walking Dead.
What are the numbers on that?
It says the biggest interview of the year was between Tucker and Putin, which had almost zero drama. Why are we being so disingenuous? That's a good question.
I don't know.
So Denizen, if you drive by an accident, how likely are you to stop and kind of look a little bit, or at least turn your head?
Me? Not very likely.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what you would need to do is make a comparison.
I think most people are very likely to do so.
So here,
so most people are very
let me
likely
help you
to
out.
do so. How likely are you to stay there until that scene is completely cleared? So what he's saying
Me
is,
or in general?
100% of people.
how likely is a
stop and watch
person
that,
to stay there until the whole site is cleared? So you're going to turn. You're going to be like, "Hey, what happened there?"
It's
And
probably
then
a
you're gonna
lot
move
less
on with
people.
your life, right? You're not going to sit there.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
watch.
it
That's
should
what
be
he's saying. What he's saying
what
is,
you should do is you should put it
burns
in its
out.
proper category anyway. If you're going to talk about a comparison of Tucker Carlson inside of that genre, you'd be looking at something like The View. You wouldn't be looking at something like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, you would be comparing to other shows in its genre, like The Good Doctor. These are highly produced cable television drama shows. Those aren't in the same genre. The View, Tucker Carlson, Oprah,
Putin is the
those
most
would all be in the same
dramatized
genre.
character in the United States.
But Andrew, respectfully, didn't you ask him to give you an example of a drama that gets more views than?
Yeah, in the genre. Yeah, but I would expect that you would keep it in the genre where it goes, the category it goes in. So Tucker Carlson produces a live television. Hang on, he produced a live television show, live television, not a produced cable television show. That's a different category.
Right,
Yeah,
but
so you're
I think
comparing
you
apples and oranges.
You got to take in mind the people that were talking.
The TNA is not a thing. Is that the argument here?
No, what are you saying?
I'm saying that that's not what the. I'm not saying, bro. No, listen. Yes, of course, if you have half naked chicks, there's some people who are going to be drawn to that. There's no doubt. What I'm saying to you, the overarching point I'm making to you is what keeps that show interesting. Because you can there's not many people who are there just looking at boobs for 8 hours. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there isn't. What keeps people engaged? What keeps people engaged is the dynamic between worldviews. That's what keeps
the
them
conflict between worldviews.
Nope, it's not the conflict. Doesn't have to be conflict.
Specific.
Yes.
Dope.
I'll take you up on that offer now. For 5 minutes, Fatty, what's your spot for a minute?
Yep, not a problem. You have it for the rest of the night. Hey, I'm going to listen offline. Thank you very much. Y'all take care. Flo, love you, brother.
Thank you.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Fatty, it's yours.
So
Go ahead, pal.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying go ahead, pal.
Go ahead.
Ask your question.
My question is, if we came from a hunter-gatherer society, at what point does a woman looking for a money man, when is it greed?
Say the last part again.
Damn.
Basically, you're talking about hypergamy. You're saying when is it wrong for women to want to have the best?
At what point, if we came from a hunter-gatherer society, at what point is a woman going too far when she's looking at a man's bank account?
Hey, Garbage, before you go there, because I just wanted to say something about the other topic, and then you guys can...
Go ahead, Fatty. Go ahead, Fatty.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good, how are you?
Doing well. God bless you.
Yeah, so what I was hearing about, for my understanding, what actually makes people sticky is anticipation of chaos. Andrew is very good doing that. A lot of people on this space are good doing that. It's the anticipation of conflict. It's not that conflict is actually going to appear. Tucker Carlson is good doing that. Bill O'Reilly is good doing that. There's a lot of people that are good because even if conflict is not there, people are expecting it because they are who they are and they move how they move. So
but so what? So what? Chaos is not interpersonal conflict though. Chaos is just disorder. No, it's not.
When you go on the panel and you are with those girls,
bro, define for me why chaos has to be interpersonal conflict. Explain to me why it has to be that.
No, the definition of chaos, you can define it because I'm not good with words. But you know when a person is
it just means, bro, you just told me to define it. Do you want me to or not?
Go ahead, you got this. You're all right.
Okay, yeah. So chaos would be disorganized discord.
Yes. So when you sit on your panel with those girls, people are expecting chaos. That's why Fresh and Fit is so good. That's why whatever is so good. That's why your debates are so good, because people
that doesn't
are
mean
anticipating.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, that's not interpersonal conflict. It's not
It's
the same thing.
pushback. It's all pushback.
So
That's all that is.
It's worldview paradigms which are meeting. Doesn't always require pushback. In fact, half the time you get the Kodak moments of people who agree with you within their paradigm. Those become the more interesting conversations.
Absolutely, but that's the point. I didn't say that conflict or chaos actually appears. I said that people are anticipated. Like somebody gave the example of Vladimir Putin.
I agree, though. But here, listen, I'm trying to give you ground.
This is a great point.
But the problem that you have is that when I give you the ground, then you switch to the goalpost. Yeah, sure, they're anticipating chaos. But that doesn't mean they're anticipating conflict. The whole point of this conversation was that, they're only tuning in for interpersonal conflict. I don't think that's the case.
They're
pretty interchangeable in this context.
It's
why people watch NASCAR.
But that's indifferent because again, I concede to the point of we're talking about semantics, right? I think everybody understood what to say about
semantics. Semantics are super important when you're having an argument.
Yeah, but sometimes it's bad faith when everybody understands what it is, but we still need to pick the word. You see what I'm saying? I think
okay. If everybody understood,
this is Fatty. I love Fatty
what
Joe.
It meant. Yeah, so if everybody was sure what it meant, then I wouldn't have asked you what it fucking meant, would I?
Yeah, but Andrew, you are smarter than all of us, right? That's kind of gatekeeping the conversation. You know exactly what I meant.
Hang on. Wait, so I get this right. I'm gatekeeping because I asked you to clarify what chaos meant.
No, because you know
in this
exactly
context.
what I meant, but you made it difficult so we can.
Yeah, I don't believe that what you're saying. I think that you're using conflict and chaos interchangeably, which is why I want them separated. Once we separated them, now you're changing your tune. That's why semantics matter.
So what would be the word that you want to use? When you say I agree with you, you agree with me.
Just the word. You don't even need chaos. You don't even need chaos. Just anticipation is enough.
So why is it even chaos? Without saying what people are anticipating? No, I'm.
Well, because I don't like when you say anticipation, I don't think that they're always anticipating chaos, or maybe some are anticipating half-naked chicks, or maybe some are anticipating this, maybe some are anticipating that. It has nothing to do with the fact that what keeps people engaged in the shows, which was the original conversation, is the world views coming into contact with each other. That's what they want to see.
Conflicting worldviews.
But there's a mistake because two boring people that are from different sectors will never bring people to the table because they are not entertaining enough.
Great point.
Nobody's anticipating a harmonious agreement.
It happens all. Yes, they are. That's why they tune in to podcasts like Joe Rogan, because they do sometimes anticipate heavy agreement. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Joe Rogan only got there because throughout his career, he actually
said so.
He goes against the grain.
Joe
Rogan went against the grain.
Yes, Joe Rogan was always in either his profession as comedic stand-up comedy, either on Risk Factor or he was always in positions where he was going to fight against the grain, and it was an anticipation of conflict and the proof by it, and it's actually a compliment. Like, very few people have the entertainment value to actually make esoterical debates or philosophical debates fun. You are one of those. There's a reason why you are where you are, because some people, even though they might be as smart or might have the same type of reach of pool, they are just boring expounding their arguments. So the people that can mix both, the people that go on environments where they know is going to be a fight and is going to be entertaining, they're going to win, and that's why we are like we are.
It's going to be entertaining, but that doesn't mean that the worldview paradigms are necessarily in conflict. In fact, oftentimes they're not.
I bet all the biggest movies,
Again,
books, and
again,
everything
the
are
problem,
about
the problem
conflict.
Joe
is you
Rogan
guys
is
can,
a terrible
you guys
argument.
continuously make a category error, even though I explained it to you 50 times.
I'm
The
thinking we
category
could
error
put it
that you
across
make
all
is that
categories. The
conflict.
biggest are
Is that
conflict.
conflict? No, they're not. You're wrong. They're not. It's conflict. Conflict does need to have a drive inside of a story narrative. That's true. But ultimately, that's not the narratives that people are always attracted to. That's why you watch comedies sometimes.
But
Maybe
the
there's no
word
conflict
always.
inside of the
Oh,
comedy.
now it's always.
But there's the
Everything
problem.
needs the
We are
hero's
not saying.
journey, right? Everything needs a challenge. Nobody's entertained by.
No,
Yeah, all the biggest
everybody likes the
movies were
story.
about
Everybody likes the storyline. There's when NBA was fun. Was the Celtics Magic Johnson against Larry Bird, even WWE. If you
Larry
look
Bird
at
versus.
if you look at every sort of entertainment and platform, the most viewed videos, the most talked about it is the one where anticipation of whatever the word is usually is there. Entertainment is going to put the seats on the table, and then your ability to explain yourself to actually make
Oh,
everything
okay,
go
great.
wrong.
So then, what is the conflict at a rock concert then?
What do you mean?
Talk about category mistakes.
Why did you use the singularity?
Because you use the idea that entertainment is the idea that there's going to be an anticipation of conflict.
Yes,
However, I
look
just
at
gave
what
you a
is that.
category of
That's
stop talking, my turn. So I just gave you the idea of entertainment, which requires no conflict whatsoever, but still builds anticipation. Do you mind explaining that for me?
Yes, look at, for example, first of all, there's a straw man. Use a concert. Why don't you talk, for example, about Kendrick Lamar and Drake?
Why would that be?
Is a concert
entertainment?
I didn't
Is
interrupt you.
concert
I
entertainment?
didn't interrupt you,
Well, then
please.
don't straw man my position.
No, but you can actually say
a
again that
concert
I'm showing your
entertainment.
position.
Question, Fatty. You asked him a